In today's video, I'm going to share my top 5 indie reads with a few honorary mentions thrown in. Welcome to Pen to Paper. I'm Leah, and I am excited to share a little bit of my love of books with you since this is the Love Week, but I thought it'd be fun to throw in indie reads just to bring more exposure to these really great works. I know that indie authors have to fight a little extra to get perhaps the attention that they deserve because they may not have the budget or the big mega publisher behind their name, but they rely on book reviewers and book lovers just the same. And so I just wanted to help promote these authors to you and to share their amazing works. So, top one of the year, or not of the year, this is probably over the last 2.5 years of my life. This is when I first started reading indie novels, and I'm really, really glad I did. The first one that I have to share with you today is The Cruel Dark by Bea Northwick. And honorary mention with this is Lover, which is the companion novella to this. But basically, The Cruel Dark is termed as a spicy gothic romance. It follows the story of Millie. Her name just was gone for a second. Millie, who is haunted by the ghosts of her past. She doesn't remember the last 2 years of her life. She woke up in an asylum. She found work. And now she's finding this call to go to this estate, this moldering estate in the middle of nowhere to work for this professor because she has a specialty in Celtic language and folklore. And there she is becoming haunted by the ghosts and by the passing of the professor's wife, who is dead. And what unravels is this mystery of who she is, who the professor's wife was, what happened at this estate, and is it really the ghosts of Celtic, folklorish, nightmarish demons or ghosts? All I want to say is that this is so good, riveting, well-paced. There's just the perfect amount of story along with romance to carry the reader through and to wonder what is going to happen. And the twist at the end is amazing. Now, you have to read this before you read Lover, the companion novella, because Lover is told from the perspective of the professor throughout the entire book. So you need to know what happens before you read from his perspective. So this is the first indie read that I love. Next, I actually don't have a copy here because I just read the arc for this. And this is Game of Hearts by Courtney. I don't know why I'm missing names here all of a sudden. There we go. Courtney Milcam. And I met her through a historical fiction fantasy panel last year on... names just are not coming to me tonight. A.F. Stewart's channel. You should definitely go check her out. And then we just kind of kept in contact, and I wanted to read her book that she already had out called The Never Era, which that receives also another honorary mention. I did finish it, really enjoyed it. It's a Peter Pan retelling set in the 1920s. This is an Alice in Wonderland set in the 1920s retelling, but there was a lot more magic in this one, and I loved the characters, all of them. Alice, Chess, which is the Cheshire Cat, Max, which is the Queen's fighter for this game. Basically, Alice has this dream of becoming a fashion designer in Paris, but she has to be the good girl and marry the boy that her parents want her to marry. And so she decides to play in this game of the Fae that's put on by the Fae and the Winter Queen, Verena. And if she wins this game, she gets to change her fate. If she doesn't, she loses and forfeits a year to be in the Queen's army. But anyways, she goes on this whole quest to win, and she has to find magical objects and work with the enemy. And it's just a riveting story. I love the magic within it, and it definitely has that Alice in Wonderland, Lewis Carroll feeling of kind of everything is a little bit smattering, but just all comes together perfectly. Please, please, please go check out Game of Hearts. It is actually coming out this month, February 24th, I believe. I think 24th and the 28th. But you can even pre-order it right now, which I suggest you definitely do. Next, we have Everywhere, Everywhere by Juliette Caron, and I met her through Instagram, and so this also sounded kind of right up my alley. It's slightly similar to The Cruel Dark. It's a gothic love story set in the 60s. Yeah, the 60s. And so basically, this girl, Charlotte, was writing letters back and forth with this young man named Lucian, and then all of a sudden they just stopped. I believe they professed their love before the letter stopped. And so after they profess their love, she doesn't hear from him, and she decides to go see him where he lives across the country. And so as she is searching for him, she comes across secrets from his past and the reason why he's trying to hide them and why he has become this recluse in his own house. But it definitely has like a Beauty and the Beast flair and that gothic kind of old estate again feel. So if you like gothic kind of modernish story, this is perfect for you. I love, love, love this. I can't wait to go ahead and check out more of her works. This is a standalone novel. Highly recommend. Hey there, if you like this type of booktube content, go ahead and click the like and subscribe button for weekly content on books and love of books. Oh, I was looking for it in my house and I couldn't find it, but I have to put out a shout out to, I will put it up here, Everything is Summer by Alexander Michael. One of the first few horror novellas that I read, and he has a couple out, but I just wanted to showcase this one because this is the one that made me fall in love with his writing. His prose is poetic. It's beautiful. I do have a single video review if you want to hear more about Everything is Summer, but basically it's about this young man who is in Melbourne, Australia, I believe, and there's this house that's decrepit and old, but it's solitary and it calls to him. And within he finds this world, this ghastly, beautiful horror world of the underbelly of Melbourne, Australia. I don't want to give out too much more, but if you love poetic prose and this like almost comfortable feeling of uneasiness and searching for meaning, and you just get sucked into it, this is the work for you to read. And it's not hardcore horror. There's nice dashes and elements of horror, but I'd say probably more toward the end it's horror. But really, really enjoyed the prose, and I just love his writing. And then I've been reading everything else that he's put out since, so shout out to you, Alex. And I do want to do an honorary mention for his latest novella, Home, which is a ghost story, haunted house in the middle of winter. So it's actually a great Christmas winter read if you're into horror and you're not into the light cheeriness of Christmas. You definitely should check that one out. And I will be putting up a single video review of that very soon. The last one that I wanted to showcase was The Triangle by Robert P. Ottone. Robert is the first horror author that I connected with. The first horror books that I ever read were his. It wasn't this one. It was two other ones that he wrote that are not series, that are not connected. They were short stories. But this is, I don't know if it's his first series. It might be. This is book one of The Triangle. If you like anything to do with the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle, if you enjoy Waterworld, the movie, or the concept of Earth being fully underwater and people living on these cities that are made up of the waste of the earth. Anyways, so you have this father and daughter who, that's what they do. They are wreckage savers, I guess. They go out into the ocean, they pull these wrecks in, they bring it back to their home city, and then they go through it and sell it off, and that's how they make their living. And they are asked, I don't know if it's the mayor of a town, I'm trying to see if it says it here. Basically, there's this mysterious order that tells I believe it's the mayor of the town or whoever's in charge of that town, to tell them to go to this ship that's out in the Bermuda Triangle that's been sending out these signals, and they want to know, it's a ship, this legendary ship that has like this treasure trove of medicine and things that they would need to survive even longer on this earth. And so this father goes out, but the daughter stows away on the ship, and they get to this big imposing ship. But what they don't know is that it's already inhabited, and you find out by what. And there's something under the water that is in charge of it all. It's deliciously fun and scary. Not super scary. It's more like I would say it's more heavy on the thriller suspense side, and like almost alien-like. Highly, highly recommend. I can't wait to read book 2. Definitely. I know book 2 is out. I don't know about book 3. Probably it is. You have to read this book. So good. So those are my 5 favorite indie novels so far that I've read, but I'm looking forward to reading many, many more in the years to come. Please tell me what is one of your favorite indie reads. And if you haven't even read an indie novel, then pick one up. And if you haven't and you like historical fiction, well, you can pick up my latest one, Unborn Melody. I've got 5 technically, 3 standalone novels, historical fiction, all of them. So first one is Redeemed from the Ashes, second is Wisps of Gold, and the third one is Unborn Melody. If you like Canadian historical fiction, I'm your girl. Have a great week. See you next